Technology in GIS never stands still, especially when it comes to AI. From smarter assistants to agent-driven workflows, artificial intelligence is rapidly reshaping how we analyze data, build applications, and make spatial decisions. In this seasonal Getting Technical episode, we explore how AI is evolving across the ArcGIS platform, what that means for both analysts and developers, and how trust, security, and modern tooling fit into the picture. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Geographical Thinking. I'm Michelle Brake, and I'll be your guide as we explore ideas, stories, and conversations through the lens of geography. But today, we're diving into this timely edition of our tech focus segment, Getting Technical. This episode is all about AI in ArcGIS, where it shows up, how it's being built, and what's coming next for the people who use and develop GIS technology every day. First, we'll hear from Hawjin Falahatkar, an associate GIS analyst who will walk us through how AI is taking shape across the ArcGIS ecosystem. We'll break down three key components: GeoAI, AI assistance, and agentic AI. Hawjin will also touch on an essential part of the conversation: security and trust, including how Esri is approaching this through its trusted AI framework. Then Ben Mannell is going to take us through everything AI from the developer's perspective. Ben is a product specialist for the ArcGIS Developer Technologies. He's going to share how AI is influencing application design and development, what's new with the ArcGIS SDKs, and most importantly, where he sees things heading for developers building the next generation of spatial apps. So let's get into it now. Over to you, Allison.
Thank you, Michelle. We have a great group today of very knowledgeable Esri Canada members that I'm really excited to explore these topics with. So let's get started with Hawjin. How are you doing?
Hi, Allison. Thank you so much for having me today, and I'm doing well. How are you?
I am so good. I'm so excited to dive into some AI topics with you. But I just wanted to bring up something quite funny to start, just to kind of let loose a bit and get this conversation going. Do you remember the first time that we met?
Yes, I remember. It was a tech track, and we played golf together.
Exactly. And what's really funny
Yeah.
about the first time that we met is that we got to play golf together and you got to witness my awful golf game because every single golf ball that I hit went into the water. Do you remember that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, same was with me. It was my first time ever trying like golf, and it was horrible, but I enjoyed every second of it.
Good, me too. And look at us now. Look where we are. We're doing a podcast together.
Yes.
So on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have you start off by telling us about your role here at Esri Canada.
Sure. So I'm an associate GS analyst with Esri Canada. As Michelle mentioned, I joined the company back in May 2024, right after my graduation. And I joined through the associate program. And I know many people already know the program. It's a program designed for people who are just graduated from a Canadian GIS program. It is a rotational program by nature, meaning that associates move through different departments, gain hands on experience with various SG products across different industries. And I've completed a few rotations myself so far, and I'm currently rotating with the product management team. And here, my main focus and honestly, my passion has been AI in our GIS. And most of my work revolves around exploring and working with the latest AI capabilities being introduced in our GIS and also showcasing them to our customers, which has been really exciting to be a part of.
Thank you for that introduction about yourself. So you're the perfect person to talk about AI things today. So we want you to give us an overview of new AI features, but maybe to start, we can get a rundown of AI within the ArcGIS system.
Yeah, sure. So AI is everywhere these days, right? Across every industry, every sector, everyone is looking at how to bring AI into their workflows to work smarter and faster, and especially for those large time consuming tasks that eat up your day. And Esri is very much on the same path. AI capabilities are increasingly being added across our GIS products. And all of them have one goal: a better, more intuitive user experience. So, let me give you a quick map of how it all fits together. ArcGIS AI is built on a unified AI framework. And right now, the framework has three main components: GeoAI, AI assistants, and agentic AI. The framework itself sits underneath everything and enables the whole system. And it does that through connecting to your GIS tools and data sets, and also AI models like large language models, agents, and skills. And it's basically what makes you capable to do AI within ArcGIS.
Okay, so we have the three main sections. This is a good breakdown for me. But maybe we can start off by talking about Geo AI.
Sure. So, GeoAI or Geospatial Artificial Intelligence is actually where it all started for Esri's AI journey. And at its core, it's all about applying machine learning and deep learning techniques to answer real world geospatial questions, like analyzing satellite imagery or extracting information from text or videos. And now here's something that might surprises you. GeoAI in ArcGIS is not new at all. It's been around for more than 2 decades, with tasks like image classification, data enrichment, and also spatial relationships, and even with ArcMap. But I must say that GeoAI itself is advancing tremendously. For example, at this year's Developers Summit in March, Esri announced some really significant R&D projects for developing GeoAI models based on foundation models, like geodemographic foundation models and geospatial vision language models. And in addition to them, there are over 100 pre-trained deep learning models available right now on our GIS Living Atlas of the world. So all users need to do is downloading them and using them directly in their workflows. So basically, the barrier to entry for GeoAI is getting lower and lower, and this is a really significant change in how we approach GeoAI today.
So many things to unpack there. So thank you for that information. Number one, shout out to ArcMap and rest in peace, because we know that ArcMap is fully retired now. And then the ArcGIS Living Atlas. So there are so many models there to use, right? And I'm really glad you mentioned it. And I've used one of them in the past, the HF text classification package, and it's amazing. So I'm really glad that you gave
Yeah.
it a shout out. People should make use of the ArcGIS Living Atlas. You also mentioned AI assistants. So maybe we can shift the conversation and talk about that now.
Sure. So, with the rapid advancement of generative AI over the past year, Esri has introduced multiple AI assistants across the ArcGIS platform. And the core of all of them is that they want to enhance the user's experience. So, the goal is to let people interact with ArcGIS more naturally and using plain everyday language. So, basically, instead of navigating menus, or hunting for the right button to complete a task, which sometimes can be very frustrating, users now can talk to the apps. And they are built right into the ArcGIS apps that you're already using, like Survey 123, Map Viewer, Experience Builder, ArcGIS Pro, and so on. And this is how they work. They use generative AI or large language models to understand what you're asking, reason through it, access your data, and then either suggest a workflow for you based on your purpose or show the information that you're asking for. But also, I need to mention that using AI assistant is completely opt-in, meaning that organization can choose whether to enable it or not, and based on their own policies and data governance, they can choose their path. So they're in full control on that front.
That's really good to know. Everyone needs to be aware that AI assistants are opt in. So thank you for sharing it. I think that's a key point. As much as these are some great features, people still have the decision if they want to opt in or use them. So that is fantastic. Thank you for letting us know. And we are seeing a lot more GIS tools start to include those built-in AI helpers, right? So to like guide your analysis. You did mention ArcGIS Pro, and I am somebody who is biased. I love ArcGIS Pro. And there is an ArcGIS Pro assistant coming. So can you share some information about that?
Yeah, definitely. So, like the other assistants we talked about, the RGS Pro Assistant is all about helping you complete your GIS tasks more efficiently, and you can do it right within the RGS Pro itself. It uses AI to do a few key things for you, like answering your questions, performing actions, generating SQL queries, and even writing codes for you. And it does this in different ways. One example is RGS Help, which can help you with like answering your questions directly from RGS Pro, and just by asking the assistant to answer the questions for you instead of like using different buttons or help pages. And also, one more important advancement here is helping you with writing Python. It can generate ArcPy code snippets on the fly, which makes building more sophisticated workflows so much faster. But currently, our GS Pro Assistant isn't generally available. It's in private beta. But if you're interested in getting early access, as you said, you're interested in RGS Pro, you can join the early adopter community and request for access from there.
Very, very cool. And instead of me asking Ben to help with my Python snippets, now I can use the ArcGIS Pro Assistant. So something I'm looking forward to, which is awesome. Let's maybe shift the conversation. You did mention like AI agents, and there's a lot more talk about agentic AI. So can you tell us how Esri is approaching it?
Sure. So that's a great question because agentic AI is everywhere right now. And we talked about AI assistant, that how they can understand your requests and suggest workflows and show you information. Agents take a step further by taking actions, and you can see them as your coworker. So you give them a task and they go and do it for you based on some reasoning, planning, accessing the data that you give them access to, and they carry out the workflow for you basically. And on top of that, they have memory, so they can like remember the conversation they have with you, so they can improve themselves over time. But this is how Esri is approaching agentic AI. They announced in Dev Summit back in March that our GS is becoming agentic, which is a pretty big deal. In the short term, we are talking 2026, we can expect some out of the box agentic solutions. And one example here is Data Explorer Instant app, which is in beta right now. And it basically helping you with retrieving information and data visualization using natural language prompts, which is very helpful specifically for non-GIS people. And then there's something that I'm personally really excited about, which is MCP, or Model Context Protocol. Think of MCP as a bridge that connects third party agents to ArcGIS tools. In that way, the agents can understand the geography and geospatial tasks. Here is an example. An agent built in Copilot Studio on its own has no idea how to geocode an address, right? But the moment you point it to an ArcGIS geocoding MCP server, now it can. It understands geography and it can locate places for you. And that is quite powerful. And in terms of release plan, the good news is that Esri is planning to offer MCP in 2026 across different platforms like RGS Enterprise, RGS Online, and also RGS Location platform. So stay tuned as there's a lot on the way.
Very cool. So MCP, I'm looking forward to seeing that, and maybe you can show me that when it comes out. You can give me the rundown. We'll set up a meeting.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
but something more on the serious side of things. Sorry to get all serious, but I want to know how we can ensure that these AI driven GIS systems remain secure and transparent, because they're going to be taking on a little bit more decision making roles what I'm understanding from what you're describing. So can you kind of talk about that security and the transparency aspect?
Absolutely. And honestly, this is such an important concern because trust is the foundation of what Esri is built on. And when it comes to AI, we hear these concerns a lot. Customers come to us with questions like what models are actually powering these assistants? Is Esri using my data set to train their models, or are my prompts being stored somewhere? And these are completely valid questions. And frankly, they should be asked. And that's why Esri has built out a dedicated resource called Trusted AI in ArcGIS, which is a whole website focused on addressing these concerns and answering these questions. It covers different components of trust like security, privacy, transparency, and so on. And it goes into details for each AI product Esri offers. For example, for AI assistants, they have transparency cards. Think of them like nutrition labels, but for AI. They break down exactly how each feature works, how it's structured, and what security principles are guiding its development, and so many other useful information. So, if an organization has questions, and I am sure many organizations do, I strongly recommend checking out the Trusted AI in ArcGIS website because at the end of the day, AI is only as useful as it is trustworthy and reliable.
Very good point. And I like how you compared it to that nutrition label. So, very, very cool. So, that was the Trusted AI in ArcGIS page. And I'm pretty sure that can be reached. There's the ArcGIS Trust Center website. Very, very good to know. I'm sure it's probably a highly used page. So, thank you for shouting that out. I do have one final question, non very Esri related, but AI related. Okay. So this is to end it off. If you could outsource one daily decision to AI, which one are you handing over immediately?
So I'm really interested in writing and doing research. And one thing that I usually use AI for is that, hey, this is my idea, this is what I'm thinking. Find the resources for and against it, and that way, I think AI can really help me to just create something that is useful and ethical at the same time. So I just don't want to AI to approve what I want. I just want it to just find those resources that are against my ideas as well.
Great answer. Great answer. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you for being here today. Thank you for providing your knowledge. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Allison. It was a really nice chat.
Awesome. So that was Hawjin from the product management team sharing some great insights on AI. Next up, we're turning to Ben to walk us through what's new in ArcGIS for developers. Hello, Ben. Welcome to Getting Technical. How is it going?
Hi, thank you. I'm doing well.
Okay, so I had a little bit of a funny intro with Hajin about just how we met, but I have a little something for you for people to get to know me and you as like a unit. Is that me and Ben, we kind of bond over our love of proper footwear, proper
Mhm.
either barefoot shoes, shoes with wide toe boxes. That's how we bond over things that are not Esri related.
Yep.
Are you wearing proper shoes right now?
I am. I
Or
got
any
my
shoes?
wide toe box, wide shoes on right now.
Good. Love to hear it. Okay, so let's get you to start off by telling us your role here at Esri Canada.
Sure. So I'm in a very similar role to Hajin, except I'm focused on the developer software. So I focus on things like our JavaScript SDK, our Python API, and all of the things included that have to do with developer technology. And so my job is to be an expert in those to help our clients as well as to help everybody else at Esri Canada when they have questions. I'm their go-to person.
Perfect. So you are the best person to get all this what's new that I'm kind of looking for today.
Definitely.
Okay, so we did just talk about how AI is like reshaping those GIS workflows. Hajin gave us a lot of good information, but from a developer's perspective, I want you to tell us kind of how this AI integration is changing the way people are building those geospatial apps. What is your perspective on that?
It's been a huge change. I think not just to the GIS and or GIS developer world, but developers everywhere on any software. I'm sure if people have been paying attention to the news, they've been hearing about a lot of layoffs, and that's kind of a symptom of what this AI and all these agents have done for developers, and it's made us a lot more productive and a lot more efficient at building these apps. So something that might have taken maybe a week is now taking a developer a day. And that can be anything from, a complicated ETL process to developing a web app from scratch. These things are just so much faster with agents now. You can just kind of tell it what you're doing with the data you're processing, and it's going to just write the code for you. And obviously it's not perfect. I feel like if you used it before, you know about the hallucinations, uh, but it's just making things so much faster for us to write things.
Yeah, which is good. Like that's
Definitely.
more,
That's a
more
good thing.
productive,
Exactly.
more things done.
You
That's
can make
good.
cool apps. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, are you able to talk a little bit about agents? That's kind of a key word I just have written down here. And you're the perfect person to kind of dive more. I just was doing research, right? And I want you to dive into these key words. So like agents, developer side. What do
Yeah.
you got?
So as a developer, like I just talked about, we have agents on when we're actually building the apps, which helps us a
Okay.
lot. But also we're working at building agents for then our customers or user base to use as well. So that's one of the big things that Esri released in their last JavaScript update is that there are now agents you can add to your application, and that can help with things in the same sense as the data explorer that Hawjin was talking about. You can do the same kind of things, but in a custom app. So you can tailor the look and feel of it, but still have that experience of chatting with an agent, helping you explore that data. And I think long term, that these are going to get more advanced. Right now, they're just in beta. But I think that's going to be a huge thing going forward is that these agents are going to kind of proliferate and get everywhere, as we're already starting to see.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. What about like on the assistant side? I think you may have heard me say that with the ArcGIS assistant. I won't need help from you with my Python. Like
Exactly.
what should we look forward to, or what about that?
Yeah, and that's a thing that's continued to progress as well. So Hajin had mentioned the notebooks has an assistant inside of it, which is really cool. I use that all the time when I'm writing my notebooks. You can, select a cell, bring it into the assistant, tell it what you're working on, and then it'll give you some code, and you can just copy that right back in. So it's a really seamless process, and that's in ArcGIS Online, and as she said, ArcGIS Pro. So that's a really cool tool to help you develop your scripts, as well as if you're using something like a VS Code or another developer, those can just help you build your apps as well. And I think Esri has been doing a lot of work. If you know the idiom garbage in, garbage out, that applies to these AI models. And they've been doing a lot of work on their documentation side of things. So as they progress and advance that, the assistants are just getting better and better at kind of knowing about the geospatial side of programming, not just developing web apps like like a Facebook or a YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, very good to know. Thanks for sharing that. Maybe we'll kind of shift away from the AI side of things now, and in my research, right? So when I'm looking, because I don't get to deal with all the developer side of things, so did a little bit of searching before this, but there's been a lot of updates to ArcGIS Maps SDKs and APIs. Like, I want to know what enhancements do you think is going to have the biggest impact on developers building apps right now? Like, what are those new enhancements that are huge?
One of the biggest ones, in my opinion, that has just been released as well as bringing in some AI components. Esri has released the web components as part of the latest update, and that's really a big push to modernize the JavaScript SDK, and that will allow the developers out there to really speed up their development of apps just as much as the assistants will. Instead of writing maybe 10 lines of code to just boot up a web map, it's just going to take one line of HTML and the web map is going to be right in there. And it's going to be more like writing HTML instead of writing some JavaScript. So I think that's a monumental shift, and they're going to keep pushing it in the future, as well as along those lines, they're working on the calcite side of things. So now the calcite components that's really more prevalent in their JavaScript SDK, and they're really kind of encouraging people to use those components to build out their whole web app, not just use the JavaScript in another type of framework. So those are two big enhancements they've been released just recently, as well as I think they're going to become really more important in the future.
Yeah, very cool. I'm excited to hear more about that, especially just having one line of code
Mhm.
instead of like that's productivity improvements. We love
Exactly.
the productivity
Exactly.
improvements. Is there any automation enhancements?
Yeah, there are definitely some automation enhancements. So the Python API has had some updates recently that are really, I think, will help people out there if they're trying to do more maybe admin type workflows in their ArcGIS environments. Um, a couple of them that I'm really excited for are the form manager and the dashboard manager. These are going to, I think, really help people take their dashboards and enhance and take them to another level. Before, the workflow would have been you make a dashboard, and if you have a template, then you clone it, and then you probably would have had to do some manual work if you want to use a different data set inside of that. Now you can actually write some Python scripts to take a template dashboard and clone it out and reuse it with different types of data sets and be able to kind of proliferate a dashboard ecosystem much more quickly and with a lot less manual labor, which I think is really exciting.
Okay, that's really cool. And this is the first time I'm hearing about this. So thank you for sharing that. That's very, very cool. So the form manager, what is that like survey 123? Like, is that
No, so that
no
is the new field maps
field map?
forms.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes, when you're building forms in the field maps designer,
Okay.
this will allow you to take those forms and repurpose them for different use cases, and very similar to what I was talking about with the dashboard. So say you have a form that you want to just use in different areas of a region. You can tailor a form to just say, hey, or just only for a subset, and be able to describe that in code and have that be copied out to different people. Or maybe you have forms for different teams and you don't want them to see everything in all the drop downs. You can design
Mhm.
that in code, and instead of having to manually go and make those changes in all the different field maps, you can do that in Python and have it one click and it's all there.
That's awesome. That's cool. I first time I'm hearing about these things. So do I live under a rock or are these brand new things that I
Brand new. Yeah, it's
okay.
okay.
Good to know. Thanks for sharing that. Maybe we can look ahead now, like look
Mhm.
into the future.
Mhm.
What should developers expect to kind of see in the platform in the next couple of years, or what can you share about that?
Yeah, I think the big thing that we're just going to continue to see is AI.
Yeah.
That's going to be continue to expand and grow in functionality. The one thing I'm excited and curious to see is a new agent development kit that Esri has told us they're working on, which will allow us to write agents in JavaScript. So you can have an agent in your app, and you can design it in your app and ship it and have your clients. It seems like it'll be much easier and less overhead to work with agents. Another big one I think is kind of along those lines is like kind of the expansion of chatbots. I know if you've gone to any website these days, it seems like they have a little helper chatbot. What I'm
Mhm.
excited to see is kind of a more geocentric chatbot. I know I've seen some examples of forms and chatbots that'll allow people to, like, if they're at a municipality and they're reporting something, maybe a tree's down or they've had a pothole, chatbots that can work with a user and then have that go back into like a reporting system. I think those will be really cool and really help kind of like streamline those processes.
Definitely, definitely. That's really exciting to hear. Do you
Mhm.
have like like a year, or that's just they're
As far
talking
as
about
far as
it?
I know, it's just on the roadmap. It's coming at
Very
some
cool.
point. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, I'm trying everybody to get dates. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. I love sneak peeks. I'm sure everybody listening loves to hear those sneak peeks. But I want to end off today on a fun, lighthearted note. Okay, so nothing really Esri related, just kind of like my question for Hawjin, but I have a different one for you, Ben. And I want to know, and I'm sure the listeners might be curious too, what snack fuels your best debugging workflows?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I love them all. If I have to pick one to be my favorite, it is those peanut butter filled pretzels.
Oh, yeah.
If you get them in
Good
the
choice.
Costco sized, that's dangerous. That'll be gone in a day.
Very, very good choice. Very good choice. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
If you're curious about mine, because as I was thinking about this question, I did answer it for myself. Have you heard of crunchy curls?
No.
They are a lentil type chip from Trader Joe's and highly recommend
Okay.
trying them. So that's mine if you cared.
Next time I'm at the TJ's, I'll have to look out for
Yeah.
them.
Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge today, Ben. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So that was Ben from the product management team sharing a roundup of what's new for developers in ArcGIS. So hopefully that sparked a few ideas for everybody's next projects. Hajin and Ben, thank you both for being here today. Back to you, Michelle.
That brings us to the end of this edition of Getting Technical. AI is no longer an emerging idea in GIS. It's here and it's evolving quickly. From trusted and secure AI capabilities to modern developer tools and future ready frameworks, staying informed helps all of us work smarter and build with intention. We'll be back next season with more updates and conversations to help you stay in sync with the ever changing geospatial landscape. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thinking geographically.